Hey everybody, it's Cudby here. Welcome to the webinar. As promised, we are starting very promptly at 2 p.m. because I really respect your time and I really appreciate you taking time to be here to chat. So, because we're sort of in technology land and this is a new tool for me, so I'm kind of learning it as we do this webinar, can you just go ahead and put in the chat box if you can hear me? So just type yes or howdy or gotcha or something. Can you give me a little thumbs up that you can hear me? Can you hear me? I can't tell if you guys can hear me. Do you see a chat box? Okay. You should see a chat box. Yes, you hear me. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so good to know. First hurdle covered. Great, well, welcome. So a lot of you know me and have either worked with me before or have read my columns or my newsletters. So I will just give a brief introduction for those of you who have not met me before or have not worked with me before. My name is Cudby, and my company is called Fab Foundations, and I work with lingerie businesses and other small businesses to really help them grow and get to the next level. You know, and in some aspects of my work, it is in helping companies understand how a bra should fit and how that really enhances the lives of their customers and why that's so important. And in other aspects of my work, I help on the business side, tapping into my background as a marketing executive and a Wharton MBA. So those are sort of the two aspects of my work that have come together to this lingerie industry expertise. And again, you've sort of seen me in my newsletters and the columns, perhaps in Lingerie Briefs or Lingerie Journal or McPete Says. Actually, why don't we do this? You know, how did you hear about this webinar? Through maybe a newsletter from me or an email from me? Did you hear about it in Lingerie Briefs? How did you know that I was going to be putting this on today? If you can just go ahead and put that in the chat window. That would be cool to find out. And then, you know, and then also, why don't you tell me where you are tuning in from so we can get a little bit more information about all of you guys, so we can sort of hear what's what. So I'll let you guys take a second and do that. All right, so that's that'll be coming in any moment then. So what I'm going to do is just chat for a minute, and then I'm going to pop on a slideshow and talk a little bit longer. And then at the end, I will take questions. So feel free to email, newsletter, lingerie briefs. Awesome. And does anybody want to tell me where they're coming in from? Cleveland, it's in the house. Awesome. Thank you. Canada. What from Canada? That's awesome. Virginia. All right, Virginia, my home state. Northern Virginia, UK, North Dakota, New York, North Carolina. Awesome. We are well represented. Australia, cool. Czech Republic, awesome. So we've got an international contingent here. That's fantastic. So like I said, this is kind of a new tool for me, but I thought it'd be a really cool way to be able to share some information, and then if it's good for everybody, then I'll do them again. So what I'm going to do is share my screen, and then I'm not going to be able to see the chat box for a while. So if you have questions, just hold them till the end, and I will come back and you'll be able to see me again, and I will answer your questions. So I will see you momentarily. But in the meantime, do screen share. Awesome. So the question for today's topic is, are you wasting money? I mean, you all, most of you work in the lingerie industry, and margins are oftentimes challenging, and you just don't have money to waste in your business. Not that any of us do. So, why are so many businesses wasting their time and their money? And what is the single biggest key to driving profitability? I mean, that's really what we're going to talk about today. So again, as I said, many of you know me from my work in the FabFit Academy and helping lingerie professionals boost their business in the intimate circle. So that's how many of you have sort of come here today. But for today, what we're actually going to be talking about is how you may be wasting your money, how to stop wasting another dime, and the single greatest asset that you need to move the needle for your business. So after this call, you're going to understand why your spending isn't working and exactly what you can do differently. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So the way that I sort of came to this realization was in my work with doing fit-based work for a lot of lingerie retailers. So I started the FabFit Academy a few years ago and started offering certification programs for retailers so that they could provide excellent fit for their customers. And what I saw was that a lot of stores were offering these transformational moments in fitting their customers. Customers would come in, they would come in wearing terrible bras, they would come in feeling terrible in their bodies. And over time, in getting a bra that fit, they would see that at the end of the fitting, they stood taller, they felt slimmer, and oftentimes they reported that they had more confidence and they felt so much better in their skin. But then what I noticed over time was that these customers may walk away really happy, but some of the stores ended up really seeing how that change was transforming their business. And some of them didn't see that change so much. And so I started sort of studying that and seeing what were some of the differences in how they handled their successes on the financial side, and why some were more successful financially after learning the art and science of giving transformational fittings, and why some didn't. And so what I realized is that there were some key differences in the ones that were the most successful versus the ones that were not quite as successful. And again, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, one of the best things as we talk about this topic is that we're going to realize that the single key that we're going to talk about as the greatest asset to move the needle for your business, it doesn't require fancy technology. It doesn't require deep pockets. It's something that you can tap into on your own in your business and really make a phenomenal difference for your clients and for your bottom line. And as one of my clients said, for a major online retailer, they said, this helps you connect deeper with your customers and makes them come back for more. And that's what we all want. So what I've noticed is that too often businesses are wasting their money and they don't have any idea why their spending isn't giving them the conversion that they want. So after this call, you're going to understand why it isn't working and exactly what you can do differently to change the outcomes and drive profitability for your business. So when retailers want to drive their business, what they oftentimes do is they go to sort of the tried and true promotions, right? They go to traditional advertising, or they think about hiring a public relations firm, or they think about having a sale in their business and offer discounting as a solution. A lot of people think, oh, if I just post more on Facebook or more active on Twitter or Pinterest or Instagram, that's going to really drive people to my business. And maybe what I should do is spend a lot of time and maybe even some money advertising in those areas. And then, I was actually talking to somebody the other day, and she was really frustrated with her business. She had really high hopes when she opened, and then over time she just saw that the business wasn't doing quite as well as she had hoped. And what she was saying was, you know, I really want to improve the reach of the store and I'm not getting the traffic that I want. So I think I'm going to open a web channel. And then I actually was talking to somebody else the other day and they were saying, you know, I opened this web-based business and I'm not getting the audience that I want. So I think what I'm going to do is promote more in my local market. So, you know, everybody's trying to sort of get that additional audience, that additional airspace, and they think that, you know, especially paying money for, you know, advertising or PR or taking money out of the business through discounting or paying for social media in both time and sometimes money as well, or essentially starting a whole new business by opening a web store if you're a bricks and mortar location, or going sort of with more local bricks and mortar type advertising if you're a web location. That sort of those are the important things to do in your business. And the thing is that, you know, there's a lot of value in some of these avenues when they're done correctly. But the challenge is understanding how to do them, how to invest in your business in a way that really moves the needle. I can't stress enough that that, you know, investing is critically important to your success. So this isn't to say that all advertising is bad, all social media is bad, that you shouldn't have a web store. The question is really, what do you want your business to achieve? And when you can answer that question, you'll understand a lot better what you want the investment to do for you. So the first thing you have to do is clarify your goals. What do you want your business to achieve? And that actually kind of reminds me of a story from when I was a kid. I went to summer camp. I don't know, I was like 8 years old, and I went to summer camp. And my mom, I came home from summer camp, I was all excited, and I said, Mom, I went to archery and it was so great. And she said, oh, you know, what happened? I said, I hit the, and she said, did you hit the bullseye? And I said, no, I hit the target. And so, you know, but I was so excited because I knew what I was aiming for. And I didn't hit the bullseye that first time, but I hit the target. And as I got better and as I kept practicing and as I got help from my archery instructor, eventually I was actually able to hit the bullseye. So, you know, understanding what you want, understanding where you're aiming is really a critical success factor for you all. And one of the things that I really hear a lot of people say is that, you know, they are a lingerie store, they are a fit-based boutique. And what I always am wondering is that a strong enough value proposition? Is that a strong enough way of thinking about what you want your business to achieve so that the people who you're talking to get it? Like, it makes sense from the perspective of what we offer them, but is it what they are going out into the market to look for? So the first thing that you really want to do is again, clarify your goals and be super clear on your target in order to hit it. So one of the things that, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause there and, oh, oops, hold on. What did I do? Okay, I'm going to pause here for a minute and just stop and ask if there are any questions so far. So we'll take a little question break because I want to make sure that there's a lot of clarity here so far. So if anybody has any questions about why it's so important and why maybe just calling yourself a fit-based boutique is not a sufficient enough or a clear enough answer from the perspective of your customers, then I just want to pause and make sure that everybody's sort of in the right place or instead of on the same page at this point in the conversation. So questions. Okay, well, I'll just chat here for a minute. It's interesting because I think that from the perspective of being lingerie experts and lingerie professionals, we see what we do as being super important for customers. But because there's so much of an expectation that, you know, we all see so many customers who just want that sort of, you know, beige t-shirt bra. They don't always value what it is that we bring to the table. So we have to talk about it in a way that is really valuable for them. And, you know, when you speak their language, then it really changes, you know, how they see what it is that we do. So really learning how to speak in the language of our customers is super important. So, all right, I don't see any questions so far, so I'm going to go back to the slideshow. Anybody? Okay, so cool. Okay, so we're talking about what we wanted our business to achieve. You know, there's a famous expression about advertising, and it says half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. That was by a guy named John Wanamaker, who was a famous Philadelphia retailer. And so the thing about advertising is that when you're not clear about your target, when you're not really clear on where you're aiming, you can be throwing good money after bad. So a lot of times what I hear from retailers is that they advertise in the local paper, or they advertise in the local, you know, monthly magazine. They're advertising in the circulars that go to the widest reach, because what they really see is that their product, their store, and this is, you know, particularly true for bricks and mortar, but they see that they have something for every woman. And they really want a wide range of women to come into their store. And so they want the broadest reach possible in their advertising. But oftentimes, when you're talking to everybody, you end up talking to nobody, because there is so much noise these days. We're all victims of it. There's advertising noise from everywhere. You can't even pick up your phone without being advertised to. I was on vacation in Iceland last month in September, and I was playing a game on my phone. And all of a sudden I saw an ad go across the bottom of my game, and it said, "Are you in Iceland right now?" I mean, you just can't escape. And I didn't even have, you know, Wi-Fi at the time. So I don't even know how they were able to target me, but they were. And so, you know, so that's really, you have to be able to cut through all of that noise. And a lot of times, you know, if you just think about your own ways of consumption, you know, are you looking at advertising, or are you looking for, you know, are you looking through it? Do you sort of, you know, your eyes go over it, but it doesn't enter your consciousness? I think that we are so used to getting advertising messages at this point that we don't even begin to actually see the ads that are going across every single screen we own, and every single, you know, day of our lives, and so many more facets of our lives. And some of the advertising, you know, it almost gets, you know, you just, unless it's really speaking to you, you just don't take it in. And so what happens when you don't take in, when you're spending money as a business owner and you are putting an ad out there and it doesn't get seen, or it doesn't get consumed? So there's a difference between seen and consumed. You can have eyeballs on something, but if they're not paying attention, if they're not actually, you know, letting the message into their consciousness, then, you know, you may as well not have seen the ad at all. And that's what I think happens a lot of the time. And so, you know, that ends up being something that that can end up being something called an opportunity cost, right? So what an opportunity cost means is that you had, by spending the money on an ad, you don't have the opportunity to spend it on something else. So, you know, when you are looking at the options in your market for advertising, and I'll just take like your local newspaper for one, yeah, you're going to get the biggest, you may get the biggest number of people who are going to get the newspaper in your local market, but that doesn't mean that the people are going to read it. And that doesn't mean that they're going to read that section of the paper. And it doesn't mean that they're going to see your ad. And it doesn't mean that they're going to consume your ad or go that one step further and take action. So if you're going to invest in advertising, or if you're, no matter what it is that you're going to invest in, one of the key things to think about is, what do you want from it? What's your goal? Because just putting it out there that, you know, like, there is brand awareness advertising. This is who I am. You know, I am X store. I am X online store. I am X service provider. So, you know, that's something called brand awareness. And that doesn't, you know, that's something that may or may not seep into the consciousness of the people who are looking at your ad. And then there's something that's called, you know, the call to action. And so that's when you have an ad and you want people to do something specific. You know, come in because you're having a one-day sale. Click this link. You know, what do you, so being really clear about the single objective that you have for any outreach campaign, whether it's an ad or a PR campaign or what have you, or a social media campaign. Having a single super clear objective is going to give you the most opportunity to have your message heard. Because, and a lot of times what I see is that there are too many messages at once. It's, you know, this is who we are, and this is what's happening, and this is what's new. And so, you know, it doesn't, it's too confusing. It's too much. And your ad, and the people who are watching your ad or seeing your ad, they just aren't going to spend the time to take all that information in. And then, are you framing the message in a way that makes them want to come to you? You know, I wrote about this recently. You know, I've really been reassessing the whole argument of 70 to 85% of women wear a bra that doesn't fit properly, because I feel like it's been out there in the market for a long time. And whereas it maybe used to be something that would inspire somebody to come in and get another fitting, now I just wonder if it makes women feel bad and ends up having sort of a body shaming effect. And so, you know, if you're putting it out there in an ad or in a campaign that, you know, you can offer a better fitting, and that 70 to 85% of women are wearing a bra that doesn't fit, then is that a message that's going to make a woman feel great about coming into your store or shopping with you or working with you? Or is she just going to feel bad? And most of the time when people feel bad, they don't want to, you know, come and engage with you. Like, people don't seek out to, you know, bring up the parts of their lives that don't feel good, right? And so, and then finally, when you're looking at what you want from an ad, looking at it from the perspective of, why should a customer care? You know, why is it that you want them to feel like you're talking to them? Why should they engage in your message? You know, because a lot of times what I see is that advertising is written from the perspective of me, 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 me. What we have, what we do, what we achieve. And it isn't oftentimes, or isn't as often, written from the perspective of the customer and the customer's point of view. So my advice is, stop talking about yourself quite so much, even though that is, it seems counterintuitive. Like, of course, what we want to do is tell them about what we have new and flip the switch and talk about it from the perspective of why that matters to your customer. Cutting through the clutter, it is hard, especially in this day and age. And, you know, if you think about it, again, it's almost like, I feel like we've almost just built up a resistance, just like bodies build resistance to medications when they're overprescribed. So if you think about it through the filter of how would you consume that ad, that will really help you. And stop thinking, and, you know, like, when you look at an opportunity, don't think about it so much in terms of how many times is your ad going to be exposed, but is this the most effective way to target your customers? And you know, when you're listening to salespeople, just remember that they're framing the argument to buy in the way that makes the most sense for their market. So, you know, magazines will oftentimes talk about their pass-along rate and the number of different eyeballs that will see an ad. But, you know, wondering if those are the right eyeballs for you is really important. So then the next question is, what are you going to get out of your investment and how long will it last? So the value of the investment should be assessed in terms of both time and money. And because when you can invest in something for your business that is going to have an impact for a long period of time, then obviously the value is that much greater. A newspaper is going to have the shelf life of a day. A monthly magazine, that may stick around for a longer. Now, when it goes to an individual's house, you have to sort of wonder how much time is that individual going to spend looking at that any one ad. But if it's in a doctor's office, then multiple people may look at an ad. And so, thinking about it from that perspective. So, longer reach is oftentimes more effective in certain instances. So it's up to you as you look at different opportunities to sort of say, well, what's going to be the long-term value of this investment? And then really think about it in terms of your customers. Who are you talking to? Understanding your customer is so critically important, and not every store can be for every woman, and not even every fit-based store can be for every woman. So really drilling down and making sure that you can understand who your customers are, to the point that if you walked up and down the halls of a trade show, you would be able to look at product and say, this is for me, this isn't for me, this is for my customer, this isn't for my customer. So that you can speak, so you have an image in your mind of who your ideal customers are. And that is really when the rubber starts to really meet the road in terms of being able to have your advertising or any outreach be even more powerful. Because it's not just every customer, it's your ideal customers. So, and really what you want is you want to talk about the raving fans. That's the ideal. The fans that come into your store more often, the fans that come into your store and say, what do you have that's new? The one, I was talking to somebody recently and she was telling me about one customer who comes in every week. What do you have that's new? What do you have that's new? She brings in her friends. She brings in her mom. Those are the customers. You're not even doing any advertising. You're not even doing any marketing. They're doing the work for you. And that's really the ideal situation. So when you're looking at the value of your money and time, again, to review, you want to think about the opportunity cost so that you're spending the money on the thing that is going to give you the best bang for your buck. You want to consider how long the message is going to be around for each customer. And the longer your timeline is, the more your investment is going to pay off, especially when the longer investment is going to mean a deeper level of engagement. And then, when you look at the long term, if you see something that has long-term value for your business, I think that there's almost like a fear of investing in the business sometimes. People feel like they should be able to figure out everything for themselves, and they think that they should be able to do it less and less expensively, and that there's a lot of value in doing it that way. But think about it. Think about your business the way you think about the garments that you sell. The quality is going to last longer. The quality is going to get you an outcome that is going to be preferable. So if you want your clients and your customers to go for more quality in their lives because of all of the benefits that you tell them about of why a quality garment is better, then think about it that way in terms of your business as well. You'll get more value from it in the long haul. So knowing who you are, knowing who your customers are, your ideal customers, and knowing the unique value that you have in the market. So if you aren't sure who your ideal customers are or how to get more raving fans, then let's think about it again for a minute. What do they look like? They come in more often. They spend more money. They bring their family and friends. They talk you up. They do the marketing for you. They're posting on social media for you. And the best thing you can do for your business is create more people like that. And when you're advertising, speak directly to them, because they're the ones that are going to hear the message that you have. So, when you are advertising, if you're talking to your ideal fan, that does cut through the clutter, because they say, oh, this is me. So if you think about all of the advertisements that you've sort of passed by as you've been flipping through magazines and newspapers or even on TV, what are the ones that catch your eye? They're the ones that have a direct impact on your life in some way, shape, or form. They're the ones that you feel like are meaningful to you. So when you are spending and investing, how do you make it so that it's really meaningful for you? So for some of you, this will all make perfect sense. And you will say, like, okay, I got it. This totally makes sense to me. And you're just going to go. And some of you may feel like, I'm not quite sure how to do this stuff. And you don't necessarily know how you want to get the word out, or even exactly who your ideal fans are. So if that is the case, then let's talk. So hold on, I'm going to get out of this for a second and go back to the screen. Hold on. Okay. So if I want to take questions now, but also what I want to do is give you the opportunity to sign up for a strategy, strategy session with me, in which totally free. I will sit down with you and talk through your business and really help you. I'd like to help identify what's going on in your business so that you can get more of these target customers. Really be able to identify who your ideal customers are and how to go after them in your business, so that when you are going out there in the market, when you are going out there making, sort of talking about advertising and looking at where you should invest, you're making the smartest choices for the long-term health of your business. I care very much about the success of this industry and also about the people in it. So I'm more than happy to have a one-on-one conversation with you. So it's no obligation, no charge. The link should be there so that you can sign up for that, and I will send it out again after. But in the meantime, I'm going to come back and answer any questions that you may have. So if you do have any questions for me, go ahead and put it in the chat box. And I got actually a couple of questions in advance from people who weren't able to attend. So what if I'm just starting out and don't have customers? One of the things, it's a great question. One of the things that I often see is that when people are starting their businesses, they kind of think that they need to be all things for all people. And they try and have something for everyone. And in fact, again, my advice is have a really distinct point of view. You really know who you're going after and have a strong point of view about what it is that they want. That's going to help you with your buying. It's going to help your merchandising. It's going to help every aspect of your business, because it's going to be incredibly targeted to the people that you want to speak to most. So thank you for emailing me the question in advance. You don't have to, you may make adjustments after you have been in business for a while, because who you think your ideal customer is, they may want things that are slightly different than you originally anticipated. And that's something that every business learns over time. And of course, as trends change and evolve, that changes too. So, what your point of view is and who you think your ideal customer is may change, but having that strong point of view is going to really attract people who are inclined toward it. and it's going to attract them more strongly. Any other questions? Okay. Okay. Somebody wants to know if there's a catch with the strategy sessions. No, there's no catch. I genuinely care about people in the industry and want you all to succeed, and would love to talk to you about how to make that work for your business. I mean, of course, I'd love to work with you if it's a fit, but the question is not about that. It's really about offering you to just talk to me about what's going on in your business and see if I can help in any way, shape, or form. Anybody else? I was talking about how it doesn't work to say that 80% of women wear the wrong size bra. I can't agree more, but how do you catch the eye of your potential customer? I think you need to make them think about their bra and that maybe something is wrong with it, and hey, we're here to help you, but can you come and get fitted for free? Is that enough, really? Okay, so the question is it enough to say that there's that you can get a fitting without talking about the 80% or 80% of women are wearing the wrong bra? I think that's your question. I think that a lot of women want to look amazing. They want to feel good. And there's a way to frame it in the positive without talking about the negative. There's a way to talk about, we have something amazing, and we have really talented fitters that, work with women and can work with you and have that conversation in a way that doesn't bring up the fact that women are getting it wrong. So I don't think it's a matter of ignoring your talents. And you should absolutely be talking about what you do really well and the product that you sell. It's the framing it in the positive that I think makes all the difference. And so I hope that answers your question. I think that there's a lot to be said for how you approach the questions with customers and how you approach the conversation. Women bring so much insecurity into the dressing room. I mean, when they show up, you're dealing with their body image issues, their sexuality issues a lot of the time. That you're dealing with the lousy thing that their husband or boyfriend or mom or friend said to them, and you don't always even know what you're dealing with. And I just feel so much. I feel so strongly that anything that we can do to boost women, boost how they feel about themselves, become a place where women get to feel good, is a real value that you can bring to the marketplace, and is incredibly important for your role in the community, and certainly important for getting those fans that come back more and more and spend more and more. So I hope that answered your question. I'm from Trinidad. Welcome. Now starting out via the web, is there a formula for marketing budgets? No. There are so many different factors that go into marketing, and there are companies that are amazingly successful with almost no marketing budget whatsoever, and there are companies that are really unsuccessful spending a gajillion dollars. Again, going back to finding these rabid fans, cultivating these rabid fans, and giving them a place where they feel amazing and want to come back over and over again, that can be your most powerful marketing, and that doesn't cost a dime. So you can go out and find women in the community that love lingerie, or that don't even know they love lingerie yet, but can figure out, but you can teach them. And when you're able to get them coming in over and over again, then that can really make a big difference. But I see people start stores and kind of screw this up all the time. So I encourage you to go ahead and set up a strategy session. I'd be happy to talk to you more about your specific situation and how to do that. So I would love to talk to you more. Okay. I have limited the size range starting out, but have found it incredibly difficult to identify a customer type and a size range, which one should have priority? It's who do you want to work with most? Being curated, being really clear about what it is that you do, and being incredibly successful at what it is that you do, and then growing from there is probably the best thing that you can do. If you try to do too much too fast in the very beginning, then again, you kind of end up with without a clear perspective, and you end up in a place where you are, you know, sort of trying to talk to everybody and end up talking to nobody. One thing that I have found is that, you know, if you don't offer a complete size range, be clear about your plans to expand if you have them. So that if somebody comes in and they are not in the size range that you're currently offering in the store, you know, put them on a list. You know, it doesn't have to be a fancy list. It doesn't have to be in a, you know, fancy POS system. It could be on notebook paper. It could be something that you put into, you know, a spreadsheet. And then when you expand your size range, let them know. You know, because people will sort of say, oh, that store isn't for me, and they may not come back unless they have a reason to believe that they should. So every customer interaction is an opportunity for you to come back to somebody down the road if you don't have what works for them today. So whether you start with size or whether you start with customer type, and I'm not sure what type means, but you know, as long as you do, then you can just always reach out to that next group when you're ready to expand. And again, if you want to talk further about that, then by all means sign up for a strategy session. I would love to have as many of you as wish to come and chat with me one-on-one. Other questions? Okay. The work that you do for women is so valuable, and I think that, you know, you have an incredible opportunity to enable women to feel amazing in their bodies. And the more you can tap into the opportunities to speak to them through your advertising, you really create messages that are going to be powerful for the women that it is most meaningful for, you know, really powerful for your target market. The more you're going to find that you don't have to do the fancy marketing. You don't have to do the fancy ad campaigns, because the store speaks for itself. So if there are no more questions, and I'm just going to hold for a second here. Okay, great. Well, I would love to speak to you all on a one-on-one basis. Again, I just think that this is incredibly powerful work, and with a few tweaks to a lot of businesses, you can make it work for you even more effectively and in ways that are very exciting. You all got into this, you all get into business because you had a dream to make your business something that would be sustainable and also really uplifting for the women that you serve. And it is my pleasure to help you guys achieve that goal. It means a lot to me as well. So I am going to say farewell, and thank you very much for being here. It's been fantastic, and we'll do this again sometime. Bye.